Thanks, everybody. Last week, I had the opportunity to go to San Diego, and I had an amazing opportunity to meet a guy named Jason Russell from Invisible Children. Jason is the guy who spearheaded the Kony 2012 movement, if anybody is aware of that. And for me, meeting him was quite epic because they produced the most successful viral video ever in history to date. Like, that's massive. So if you don't know Kony 2012, just check it out so you understand who I was talking about. Now, Kony 2012 represents a movement that has multiple elements that are quite symbolic of many successful movements. And Jason and I were talking about all the different evolutionary stages of a successful social movement. And as we're talking about, the introduction phase of a collective movement into the building phase, up into the building, and release phase, and then to the recycling and starting all over again, it reminded me of electronic music, which I personally am a big fan of. Electronic dance music, in fact. And one of the other problems I had, mind you, after being asked to speak tonight was I also bought a new toy, which is this thing here called the Ableton Push. And I took this last week on the airplane, and in San Diego, I actually turned on my YouTube instructionals and started learning how to use this thing. So I'm brand new at this, and after listening to Pam's presentation earlier, I totally got validated because this is my new passion. And it's almost like I've created a new drug habit or something like this, because I go in the basement and I figure this out. This is a week in the making for me. And as I started making these comparisons, and I really wanted to present tonight what my thoughts were on building a social movement and how it relates to building music. But instead of that, I'm so excited just to present with you some of the things I've been learning about this cool little machine of colors and LED lights. So if you don't mind, I'd like to present to you. Now, also remember, I'm a newbie, I'm a beginner at this thing, and technology oftentimes fails. So if that happens, just be forgiving with me, but I'd love to share with you a couple of examples. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, great. So, like I said, I was going to develop a great old speech about social movements and whatnot. Instead, I just want to show off a little bit about this cool little geeky toy I've got here. Okay. So, whoa, hey, look at that. Okay, so this is what's called a MIDI sequencer, and MIDI is a little segment of music. So what goes on here is, for me as someone who's building music, I take a whole bunch of MIDI sequences together and start layering them and looping them, and it develops into a song that creates energy, and hopefully people on the dance floor, like you guys, feel free to get up and dance if you want. And look, already it's not working. Isn't that nice? Hold on a second. Let me. I hope the 5 minutes thing doesn't. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's just give this an example here. So that's my metronome, so I can keep beat. I'm a drummer, but I can't keep beat that well. So check this out. Go. So loop happens. Okay, so basic beat. Nice and easy. So now I want to create a little bit of a melody, okay? So here we go. I'm making another loop. A little quiet loop, but it's there. So nice little loop. Is it too loud or is it okay? Is that all right? All right, okay. All right. So now I want to add a little bass line to this. Here we go. All right. So that continues, and my wife wants to divorce me now because that's all she hears, does it? It's true. So well, hopefully it's not true. So here's what, since 2 nights ago, so I decided to do this little bit of experiment with all of you, what I've put together. And this is a typical, what they call a progressive house piece of music. And progressive house is just music that's layered, and it progresses, and it goes up to a build, and release. And yeah, it's all that movement stuff. I almost forgot that that's what my speech was supposed to be about. So turn off my metronome. So this is my first layer. So if you're at a big rave party, this is a good place to kind of bring people in, okay? Aisha's laughing. I don't know. Have you been to one of those with me before? I don't know. So this, I don't know if you can see this machine, but I've layered all of these lights represent a different layer of music, okay? So I'm gonna bring a beat in here. Just give me a second here. Nobody's on drugs right now. Okay? And this little button I'm turning here is an EQ button. So I'm going to bring in some bass here in a second, okay? And this is where everybody kind of goes nuts on the dance floor. I'm just learning this stuff, you know. There we go. Everybody loves bass because it feels like the heart, you know? Okay? So I press my next layer of colorful lights. I'm going to take my drums out. And build it up again. Here we go. That was me. Blub, blub, blub. Okay, feel the build. Here coming. Listen to it. So these bass lines are things that I created with this little machine, and I doubled the time. We can all do this. I figured this in 1 week only, okay? Okay. No beat. So, as Brent McDonald said, sometimes it's good to completely redefine your passions and try something else. So, Brent, I want to quit life and become a DJ. So I need you to help me. Looks like I'm up. And on a final note, it is really life is short. I mean, I'm halfway through, and I've been realizing, I've got kids and I love them so much, and they consume a lot of energy and time, but it's not an excuse not to create new passions and follow it. I've loved electronic music for years, and I never knew how they made it. I'd always watch these DJs on stage. How do you do it? Within a week and a couple of YouTube clips, and me being distracted from making a real speech here tonight, I figured this thing out. And I'm stoked. All right, and ecstasy doesn't have to be a drug. It could be something really fun, with pressing a whole bunch of buttons and, Okay, thank you very much.